Joko Widodo has been lauded for his blusukan approach to campaigning, visiting traditional markets and ordinary citizens at their home villages. But was this grassroots method a detriment to his campaign's effectiveness? We spoke to Australia National University's Ross Tapsell about following Joko on his hectic campaign trail.
So I've been on the campaign trail with both candidates. I followed Jokowi around on a number of events, and that included a trip to Cilegon in West Java, which was a full afternoon and evening, and then back to Jakarta. I attended a number of events, including the Maher Zain concert from the Prabowo Gerindra team, as well as an event for the Christian community in Jakarta involving the Prabowo and Gerindra team. I also attended a netizen event for Jokowi, and attended a number of the rallies, including the big one on Saturday in Senayan Stadium.
Okay. What would you say the main difference between the two campaigns were and how they ran themselves? Because in your column, you were Joko seemed like he was incessantly late, much to his harm, and I just would like to get a sense of how they differed from each other.
Yeah, certainly with Jokowi's campaign, there was a lot packed in, and if you looked at the schedule, it was ambitious at best. And the campaign was basically around trying to meet as many people on the ground as possible, and that included trying to get to a number of different venues through the course of a day and a night. And what this often meant, both in East Java and in West Java in particular, was that Jokowi often had to miss some events, and that made it difficult to meet that schedule. But certainly the campaign was revolving around trying to shake his hand, as many hands as possible, and trying to meet as many people on the ground, because his whole strategy is about getting on the ground and hearing from the people. Now, Prabowo, on the other hand, had the much more, I suppose you could say, more professional rallies or professional events. But it wasn't that kind of go in and shake hands with people, meet the people. When he did come and speak, he spoke, for example, at the Maher Zain concert. He spoke very eloquently and directly for about 5 to 10 minutes, but he didn't go and mingle with the people. He was very much up on stage, and then he danced around, but he didn't get into the crowd. So you could see a different campaign style there.
Yeah. Do you think Joko's need to kind of press flesh and meet as many people as possible detracted from his popularity on the campaign trail? And because he was trying to pack in as many events as possible and miss some of them?
So that would be one of the problems with his campaign, is that he hasn't managed to get to all of these events, and in some cases was very late, 2 hours, 3 hours late, and in some cases the crowd only had to handle just having a phone call from Jokowi, despite thinking he was going to turn up. So that has been one of the problems with the organisation of his campaign. Having said that, you could still argue that it has been successful in the sense that he's managed to do what he set out to do, and that is get out into the kampungs and into the cities and try and get to as many places as possible. But when the schedule was so ambitious, it has been difficult. The other thing they haven't really taken into account is, there is the difficult traffic because of his popularity. When he goes to, say, a mosque, the person leading the prayers will get very excited and ambitious and probably go on longer than they first expected to, I guess, show off in front of the candidate. So this delayed things as well. So in terms of organisation, it made it very difficult.
Well, would you consider his campaign poorly planned or just over-ambitious?
I think there are some aspects of the campaign that the Jokowi team could have improved, and one of the things that could have been done better was a form of media management that was much more about encouraging media to be at a certain place at a certain time, and Jokowi turning up at that time. He very much continued the policy of the media which he had done as Jakarta governor, which was to assume, and in many cases he was right, that the media would follow, but without telling them what was planned. So often this led to chaos as media buses try and follow where he's going to next. Now, this doesn't mean that it hasn't been successful, and it doesn't mean that he hasn't achieved, in the most part, what he wanted to achieve. But certainly, I think the media exposure and planning media events could have been done better by his campaign team and by PDIP in general. Jokowi's style is not of this kind of grand, professional, bells and whistles type approach. He's very much a pragmatic type of leader. He's proven himself as mayor of Solo and then governor of Jakarta through this style of Blusukan campaign, and he's stuck to that policy. So there's no questioning about what the people are going to get when if they vote for Jokowi. So I think he's been true to his previous campaign style and his form of governance. It's just a matter now whether the people want that for president.